Thank you for joining us on Data Cloud Now, where we bring you the latest in all things data in business and industry. I'm now joined by Hanif Joshaghani, co-founder and CEO at Symend. Hanif, such a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
At Symend, you are transforming digital customer experience. What's the data showing you, Hanif?
So it's interesting. There's a couple of patterns that have developed over the last, I would say 10 years. One is the number of interactions everybody gets has exploded. It used to be that there was about 100 billion messages being sent to about 1 billion people with cell phones. Now you have 400 billion messages being sent to about 3 billion people with cell phones. So people are just being inundated, which means that message effectiveness is decaying faster than ever. What that means is that the need to be personalized and to emote the right emotional response so that you can get to the right outcome with fewer messages is becoming more important than ever. The other thing that we're seeing is that demographic shifts and macroeconomic shifts are impacting the way people feel as they interact with engagement, interact with outreaches. So being data-driven and scientifically informed into how you evolve your strategy and being able to do that with much lower latency is more important than ever.
Making quicker decisions faster.
Yes, exactly.
I want to dive into the details a little bit. Symend is broken down into two core areas, Symend's behavioral engagement platform and Symend Cure. Can you walk us through the offering?
So it's super interesting. It's the engagement platform itself is a super extensible configurable system where you can basically orchestrate, execute, and optimize really sophisticated customer engagement strategies where it's almost like combining an orchestration system, miniaturizing a decisioning engine, and putting it inside of every node so that you have this really dynamic capability to reevaluate everything as the data changes. Cure is a configuration of the platform for at-risk, vulnerable customers that are past due on their bills that we've exposed at the solution layer. And we're adding additional things like cross-sell, selling the proposition, other playbooks. So now you can build these playbooks like Cure for Latin America, Cure for Europe, by culture, by geo, by use case, by industry. You can build these specific playbooks that include like what is the data model, what is the right behavioral context, what are the right channels, and what is the right reporting and iteration. So now you can have almost like a playbook IP marketplace sitting on top of the platform. The first set of playbooks are the Cure playbooks.
Fascinating, always adapting to an ever-changing landscape.
Exactly.
How does the Data Cloud help bring simplicity to your team at Symend, Hanif?
So Snowflake is at the core of how we built our platform. So it's not an ancillary thing. We built our solution around and on top of Snowflake. The reason why we did that is because it gives you tooling and automation to make the centralization of the data that you need to have a 360 view of the customers, not just based on data you bring in, but the second party data that you generate that enriches your understanding of the customers. It makes that job super easy. Features like zero copy cloning and stuff like that. The speed with which we can centralize data, the speed with which we can leverage the connectors to enrich our understanding of the customers, and then from there learn and iterate and test. It removes a lot of that stuff from our job. The things that used to take 70% of our job, all the manual work is all gone. So now we're really focused on the advanced analytics instead, and the latency, the speed with which we can do really complicated things has exploded as a result.
Your company turns difficult conversations and everyday moments into positive experience across the entire customer journey. What trends from your standpoint are you noticing?
People want to be treated in a personalized way. We're living at a time where the demand from the consumer, we have a big army of behavioral scientists and cognitive scientist specialists. In addition to servicing our customers, one of the things that they have to all do on the side is do primary research. And then we package that primary research. It informs the way we build IP and strategy, but it's also, we do webinars and we build thought leadership around it. And the things that are coming to the surface as they do this work is the way people get communicated with. The thoughtfulness of it actually matters quite a bit towards this relationship that a consumer has with the brand. Is it a transactional one or is it a loyal one where they are not so like how elastic it is Also, how transactional it is also determines the elasticity of it. So if you're a telco provider or a bank and you treat your customers in a transactional way, the minute there's a better deal, they leave. And if you deal with them in a very personal human way, which our productized behavioral science allows you to do, you have a richer relationship that can survive these things. So you lessen the impact of either account churn or revenue churn.
Fascinating. The buzz is all around us about Gen AI and LLMs. What impact do you see this having on the industry?
It kind of goes back to the thing that I said. It's removing a lot of the, figuring out the how.
Right.
Was a really, really big job. So being the architect and the designer is the really core strategic part of solving a job like hyper-personalized customer engagement. Well, historically, a bulk of the work, whether it was how to build the right optimization equations, how to build the right targeting, how to build the right scripts, these are all just components. A playbook is an assembly of these components. Gen AI has operationalized the ability to use advanced analysis to do these components so that you can focus more of your time on figuring out what to do rather than how to do it. How was 70% of your time, whereas what is the most important thing? The way you can operate, everybody thinks about Gen AI as just building scripts. It's actually not. Like being able to, for example, command code into SQL instead and use English instead of writing scripts. If you can spend more of your time designing how to do strategic orchestration versus doing all that heavy lift, and all of that can be operationalized and automated away, it enables a smaller team of people to do much more sophisticated things with lower latency. The reason why big companies don't do sophisticated things is it's too hard. Remove that friction and they become a lot better at the jobs that they do.
Really appreciate your time and insights.
No problem.
Hanif, thank you so much for joining me on Data Cloud Now.
Take care.
And for the audience watching, I'm Ryan Green. I'll see you soon.